This will be the final video on the muscle physiology series. We'll be dealing in detail about the smooth muscle and how contraction takes place in the smooth muscle and how is it different from the skeletal muscle. So first of all, it's very important for us to know that there are no striations in smooth muscles. Okay, and then there's a slow graded contraction, unlike fast, immediate, powerful contraction which takes place in the skeletal muscle. And please do remember that skeletal muscle is innervated by the motor neurons, and they are directly controlled by the cerebral cortex of a person. So everything happens immediately in those conditions, but when it comes to smooth muscles, it is controlled by the autonomic nervous system of the body, or special enteric plexus of nerves help in contraction of these smooth muscles. So that would, before going into further details, the basic classification of smooth muscle is it can either be a single unit or a multi-unit. Or a single unit smooth muscle is where there is innervation to one part of the muscle fiber. So these circles all represent the smooth muscle, but they are connected by gap junctions. Okay, so there are many gap junctions like this which help in the transmission of the action potential. So when the action potential comes from the innervation to one muscle, it's immediately spread to all the muscles which are related to it via the gap junction. So that is a single unit smooth muscle. Whereas a multi-unit smooth muscle is where this is innervation. So there are many smooth muscles over here which are represented by the circles, and each of these smooth muscles have their own innervation. Okay, so when one nerve stimulates one muscle, it will be active. There are no widespread gap junctions present which immediately spread the action potential to the adjacent smooth muscle. So that is the basic two types of smooth muscles present in our body. So the location of smooth muscles in our body is from our blood vessels to the GIT system to the reproductive system to our renal system to some extent. So how a smooth muscle contraction is different from a skeletal muscle contraction? First of all, is that skeletal muscle contraction is voluntary. The action potential comes from the cerebral cortex through the spinal cord, through the lower motor neuron to the muscle fiber. That's how the action potential travels, and then there's acetylcholine release, and then depolarization by sodium, then sodium induced calcium release, and that calcium release is going to cause a muscle contraction. But in case of smooth muscle, it is always a gradient, and smooth muscles can be contracted for a very large amount of time because they are oxidative. They contain lots of oxidative type of fibers, and they don't get fatigued easily usually. Okay, so how the excitation contraction coupling takes place in a smooth muscle is that there is calcium influx. This calcium binds to certain proteins which have affinity towards calcium. Example is calmodulin. So this calmodulin will activate an enzyme known as myosin light chain kinase, MLCK. So you know that kinase is going to add phosphate group somewhere. So we're going to add a phosphate group or activate the myosin head. So this activation of the myosin head is going to cause contraction of the smooth muscle. Okay. So the contraction or the amount of contraction taking place is directly responsible to the amount of calcium which is present in the cytoplasm of the cell. So the calcium is going to come from this sarcoplasmic reticulum or from the interstitium. So the different ways in which a smooth muscle can be contracted are given here. So the first one is here. via your neurotransmitters or hormones, which go and interact with your G protein coupled receptors, and these receptors send your second messengers like your IP3 and DAG, inositol phosphate and diacetyl glycerol. So this IP3 goes and interacts with your ryanodine receptor, which is present in your sarcoplasmic reticulum, which helps in the release of calcium ions present inside the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So that is one way of contracting a smooth muscle. The second way is via a voltage gated calcium channel present on the muscle cell. So when a specific action potential reaches a threshold voltage, this channel is opened and calcium enters from the interstitium to the muscle cell, causing contraction of the smooth muscle. Your another way is your ligand gated. A hormone or neurotransmitter is going to directly open a calcium channel into the muscle cell, causing calcium to come from the interstitium into the cell, causing the smooth muscle to contract. So, as you can see, there are three ways for a smooth muscle to contract. Whereas a skeletal muscle contracts only when there's an action potential, which is coming from your axon nerve terminal, and it's transmitted to via causing depolarization via the T tubule, causing calcium release from the uh, sarcoplasmic reticulum by interaction between the DHP receptors and ryanodine receptors. So DHP receptors are present in your T tubules, ryanodine receptors are present in your sarcoplasmic reticulum. That same ryanodine receptor can be opened with the help of this IP3 second messenger, which is produced by the GPCR, G protein coupled receptors present on the cell membrane of a muscle cell, which when a specific hormone or neurotransmitter comes is produced and causes smooth muscle contraction. So why does smooth muscle contraction have such complex mechanism is that it is involuntary. Okay, for example, you take your urethral sphincter. Most of the time it is relaxed. Okay, so relaxed in the sense it is collecting urine, but when the urinary bladder becomes full, then it contracts for a short while and then again goes back to its relaxed state. So this is one type of sphincter. There are other sphincters which are mostly contracted and they relax for a certain period of time and then go back to their contracted state. All of this is possible only because it has lots of amount of type 1 fibers or slow muscle fibers which uh, get fatigued very easily, and you should know that this is a very efficient way of contracting a muscle for a long period of time, and it utilizes very less energy. But your skeletal muscles, which are very rapid and powerful muscles, consume a lot of energy, and uh, uh, having such muscles everywhere throughout the body is not feasible. So there is a alternate smooth muscle system which uses less energy and can be contracted for a large amount of time and are coordinated beautifully with our hormones and neurotransmitters with our autonomic nervous system is a very deep concept, because the same concept will be used in your circulatory system where there is alteration of your blood flow via the same smooth muscles. So your via your sympathetic and parasympathetic, and then your GIT where there are going to be systemic contraction when you take food, and then otherwise it's going to be relaxed. All of those is possible only because of this three mechanisms by which a smooth vessel can be contracted. So that winds up the muscle physiology part of uh, of this course. So we'll be moving on to other systems shortly. If you found this useful, please do share these videos and subscribe. And if you need anything, topic to be covered in particular, please do comment us or send us an email, and we will get back to you soon.